Alright, I think I have this screen recorder set up to give us some HD quality content this time. And hopefully my mic is not muted like it was last time too. I spent 30 minutes talking to myself. I think it's working this time. So to start, I'm going to go to my virtual dispatch system, which is called simbrief. And this is where I will set my initial flight plan. It will give me a random, payload value, 0 fuel weight. It'll do all the fuel planning and routing and all of the information. It'll actually give me a printed operational flight plan. And it considers weather, wind, everything. So I'm going to start out with a new flight. And I like to fly as United. And I'm just going to pick a random number. Let's do 4841. And I want to depart from KIAH Houston and go to KMSY New Orleans. And the aircraft type is going to be a B738, which is a Boeing 737-800. And just like that, it has given me an automatic routing. That's Gumby 3 departure, gusty transition, direct to Audad, Audad 1 arrival. And we'll get into the details of what specifically I'm confused about. But after I export this to the simulator, we can actually look at the flight plan in a different program. But for right now, this is the system that's going to actually set up and generate the report. So I'm going to go ahead and generate. Everything looks good on it. And I should get a bunch of pop-ups here. There we go. That means that it's imported into the sim. So I'm going to open up this side program for us to look at as well, because this is where we will actually look at the flight plan. So I'm going to import from simbrief, and I'm going to say this one, which we just created. And it thinks my plane is in the middle of nowhere right now, but let's go actually look at the flight plan. So this is what has been dispatched for us. See, this gives me all of the information, the estimated 0 fuel weight, cost index, our block fuel, our final plus alternate fuel, our routing, which is George Bush runway 9 with the Gumby 3 departure, gusty transition, direct Audad, Audad 1, and then New Orleans runway 11. It has all of our flight log information, so all of the fixes. And I've looked at all of these fixes, and I understand what they're showing, but right here is where I get confused. The direct to Audad, and then Audad 1 ends at Voodoo, and then runway 11 on New Orleans, there's an approach that overlaps that. So I'll show you that here on this other page. So let me go ahead and let's go and look at the end portion of this flight. So here, the pink is the Gumby 3 departure. The purple is direct from Gusty to Audad. Audad to Voodoo is the approach, the star. And then we have basically a discontinuity between Voodoo and New Orleans. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart for New Orleans. So first I'm going to overlay it on our graph here. So we see here's our end of our SID, our departure from Houston. This is the end of the Gumby 3, and then this is our direct to Audad. So if we look at the chart, turbojets landing, expect we're going to have a restriction of 250 knots, expect clearance to cross at 11,000. And then routing from, we're going to go from Audad on to Voodoo, and we're going to, if we're landing on runway 11, we're going to intercept the localizer and expect clearance to ILS runway 11. So that's what it says, but the actual chart includes Audad to Voodoo, and so landing Louis Armstrong, New Orleans International, runway 11, intercept the localizer, and expect clearance for ILS runway 11 approach. If you're landing others, then you're going to get vectors to the final approach course. So let me actually get this off of the map, and let's just look at this is the chart. This is the actual Jeppesen chart for this arrival. So all of your routing otherwise for this star, but our dispatch gave us a direct to Audad. So we're coming direct to Audad, and this is the way this looks. So you've got two, essentially there's two fixes on here that concern us, is Audad and Voodoo. Now, here's where the confusing part is. We expect runway 11. So I'm going to go ahead and close this chart off of my graph, and now I'm going to overlay possible approaches. So if I look here, there's a couple different approaches, but we're going to look at I'm going to just assume, since they're landing on runway 11, that we're probably going to use an ILS runway 11 approach. So if I look through here, there's three. There is this pink one, which is the ILS runway 11 with transition at Audad. Then there is a different route, which we're not going to use, that's transition at TBD, so I don't want that one. And then there is a transition at final. Well, transition at final, here's Voodoo. Basically, I would have a discontinuity between Voodoo and this final approach. Now, yes, I remember that the star said that I need to intercept the localizer at Voodoo and then fly to the approach. So technically, I guess I could do this, but this is why I'm confused. There is a ILS runway 11 Audad transition, and if I do that, that overlaps the star. That overlaps the Audad 1 star. And so then I get confused on how to enter this in the FMC, because if I choose this, I have a discontinuity. And if I choose this, it gets angry because I essentially overwrite the star and I have no star anymore. I just have direct to Audad, and then Audad goes directly into this ILS approach. So I'm confused. But for right now, just for the sake of planning, I'm going to just go ahead and select this final just for this chart so it's clear. And now we can see here's our direct to route, the purple line. The green line is the star. This is dashed line is our discontinuity, and then this orange line is the actual ILS approach. And I'll go ahead, just for reference, pull up the chart. I'll do an overlay first. So here's our overlay. Voodoo and Audad, of course, are listed on here, but our first fix of the actual, we start at turtle, and then mudbug went up, and then down to our missed approach point, our final approach from our final descent height from missed approach. So there's that. Here's the actual chart. Our minimums are 204 barometric. So that's that. So that's at least the planning portion of this. I'm planned, now I'm ready to actually run this in the sim. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for me because this screen I have on a tablet next to me right now. So I will pull it up on the screen here so that we can see it in this video. But normally when I'm flying, I don't have this on my screen. There's actually an in-game tablet that has all of this information on there, so I can actually watch it on there as well, and we'll see that in there. But for right now, I'm gonna minimize this, and we're gonna actually go into the sim. So here in the sim, go ahead and pick my Boeing 737-800, my United Airlines, and just to start, I'm gonna select George Bush, and that should I don't have my button to import my, there we go. I guess it just lagged for a second. So anyway, I'm going to import my flight plan, which this really isn't necessary. I'm pretty sure it's not necessary for me to do this, but I always do it. The only thing is the game, for whatever reason, likes to make us depart directly on the runway, and we're not starting there. If I look here at the airport, I think gate C35 looks good, so let's just pick gate C35. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and select fly, and we're actually loading into the sim here. So now the other thing that I will mention is I also have 2 other tablets out here that you can't see that have basically a virtual overhead panel for the plane. So it's basically a web page with a touch screen where I can touch all of the buttons on the overhead panel. And I also have an iPad that has the FMC computer out here that I can touch and type on as well. But I'm going to try to do as much stuff as I can from the screen so I can demonstrate what's going on. So let's get into the actual plane. And just to FYI, I have a head tracker, so when I'm looking around here, that is my head moving, so that's what you're noticing with this camera angle. But what we always start out with is cold and dark. So if we're going to be true to life, and like I said, I have this on a screen overhead out here, but I'm going to go ahead and click on things in here so you can see what I'm doing. But we'll turn the battery on, emergency lights, and now that that's on, I'm going to go over to our FMC, and I'm going to request a ground power cart. And when we do that, if we go outside, we should see they actually attached us to ground power. So I can go back into the cockpit and I'm going to look up here and see, yes, we do have ground power. So I'm going to go ahead and switch us over to ground power. And from there we can go through our normal checklist. So here, down, 3 green, the main annunciator, 3 green on the overhead annunciator. Flaps are up. Flaps are up in physical, flaps up indication, and flaps are extinguished up there. We're going to go down here and do our fire test. So, see 2 orange, and bell. Okay, squibs, 3 green on left. 3 green on right. Now, manual gear extension is, let's see back here, down and locked. Okay, ropes are not simulated, but they're there and there. Circuit breakers. No white collars. No white collars. No white collars. Okay, let's go back overhead. Flight recorder test. That one's not warmed up yet. It's too early for that. Let's go ahead and set the IRSs to nav so they can align. Alright. I know there's something about the power has to be on for so long without work. We'll wait anyway. So back down to our chair, lights, test. Everybody looks good. Okay, oxygen. Check. Okay, now this is where we get into actually programming the FMC. So I'm going to go over to my electronic flight bag and request our data and get our actual flight plan pulled up here. So let's look. Our block fuel is going to be $12,299. So I'm going to put 13. I'm going to put 13,500. Let me actually get us a computer closer to that. So with this, I'm going to go back here to the main screen and I'm going to request refueling from United Airlines.
Refueling truck is on its way. Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
So this is another simulation software. Basically, they do progressive filling of the plane with fuel. So
fuel truck is in position.
They're there, and I said,
please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
He's still hooking up. Let's go out and get it real quick. So it already automatically detected what my planned fuel amount was, and not he started fueling now. So let's go back in and look, and they put 12,400. So that's already input. Our fuel is loading. So now we're gonna go over to our payload, and my zero fuel weight was 127.1. I accidentally pressed the button to release my brakes. Okay, so 127.1. It automatically distributed that to passengers and cargo. Technically, if I wanted to, I could go look at the OFP and get the breakdown and do that, but I'm not that mad at it. And just because I know the other thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get the temperature alarm if I don't get an air conditioning unit over here. So I'm going to request an air conditioning unit, and what's the overhead here? That overhead. This overhead. And so when that's on, I need to have the paxing off. Isolation valve. That's what I have. So, okay. Are the IRSs aligned yet? No, they're still working. So, of course, this is a true-to-life, real-time simulation, so the IRSs take as long as they actually do in real life to align, so we gotta wait. In the meantime, we can go ahead and get our GPWS test. Oh, no, I guess we can't. We gotta wait for the IRSs to align. Let's see if our stick shakers work. Oh, yeah. Good. So the other thing that's good about this is I can basically come to my charts, and on my tablet here, so this is the in-game tablet, and it's not pulling up the charts right now for some reason. There we go. For Houston, I'm gonna look up technically I could pull up all of my chart information here, but it doesn't have the taxi chart. So on my tablet, in real life, not the tablet on the game here, but I can actually have my taxi information chart. Maybe if I zoom in more. Yeah. Let me this one's if I zoom enough, I can actually see the taxi information. So I can actually see where I'm going and how to get there. And it's at a little bit of better resolution on my actual tablet. So this is the same program that I have running on my tablet right now. But I can actually look here and actually see all the taxiway names and everything. So I have full resolution. But let's go back into the game. So I'm gonna go back down to here. Oh, it looks like our IRSs are finished. Get us back to the view of this. Return, and now I'm gonna go to FMC. So I'm going to do position. Reference airport. Next page, I'm going to grab the GPS. Input that, and now onto my route. So my origin and my destination is KMSY. My flight number is UAL 4148. And I'm going to go ahead and look at the next page, but go over to, and you know what, it's probably going to be easier if I pull the external program over here, if I can make it stay on top. I don't think I can. I think as soon as I click off, it's going to disappear. But actually, what I can do is I will type this information on my external tablet so you can just watch it appear here as I'm going. But I'll be pressing the buttons on my tablet out of the game. But for right now, we need to input our information. So I'm looking at our routing here. And so I'm going to go to departure and arrival. Departure and arrival. Departure is runway 9 with the Gumby 3 transition. I'm sorry, the Gumby 3 departure. And I believe that it was gusty transition. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and input that and activate. Now I'm going to go to our arrival, and I'm going to select AUDAD 1, and so none of those transitions apply, I don't think. So if I go back and look, it just says AUDAD 1, and then it says MSY 11. So I'm just going to assume that that's the ILS 11. I guess I could just select 11 and then that would be a visual 11. I don't really know what New Orleans landing configuration is right now. I don't even know if it's going to be runway 11 for sure, but I always just assume that if there is an ILS available, I would like to use it. So I'm just going to select ILS 11. Now here it's asking me what transition, AUDAD or TBD. Well, we looked at that before, and if I select AUDAD, that overlaps the star. If I select TBD, that's off in a different area, so that I know not that one. And if I don't select anything, then it's going to be just final. So for right now, I'm going to just leave it as that, as no transition on AUDAD 1, and go back to route, and here we go. We've got Gumby 3 departure with gusty transition, and then I need to look back at my flight plan, and we have gusty direct to AUDAD. So I'm going to go back in here and we're going to input AUDAD. So direct to AUDAD. See, now it has automatically filled in here, but now here's my problem. I've got a route discontinuity between Voodoo and Turtle. So let's go back and look at the actual approach plate again. This chart for ILS. And here is Voodoo, and here's Turtle. So I guess it's Voodoo direct to Turtle. So if that's the case, then I'm just going to go ahead and copy Turtle up to here and let it fill in like that. So now I have no discontinuities. Everything should be good. I'm going to go ahead and execute. So got my route inputted. Let's go input my performance values. Cost index 13. Now these I'm just going to type on my tablet out here, so I don't have to keep tabbing out. The cost index is 13. Reserves is final plus alternate, so that's 5.5. Zero fuel weight is 127.1. Our cruising altitude today is flight level 290, so FL290. And our cruise winds are going to be the winds at top of climb, so 252 at 36. Alright, and let's execute that and go to our takeoff calculations. So for our N1 limit, we need to go look at our electronic flight tab. And we need to go to our performance tool, and I'm going to go ahead and data, import our data from the aircraft, import weather. I know I need to listen to the ATIS, I haven't listed that yet, but we'll get that in a second. And from here, we're going to use TO1, derated takeoff, and our selected temperature is going to be 44. And we'll just take note of these speeds, they should match. So let's go back to the FMC. I really need to remember what this is. 44 is our selected temperature, and we're going to do a TO1 derate. And it's going to be, I'm going to auto import our CG and our flaps 5. So if I remember, let's give me some freedom here. So 137, 138, 144. 137, 138, 144. That's good. So our trim is going to be 4.87, so let's go over here and see. And I don't really know how to set this. I guess 4.87 should be pretty close to 5, so just below it. So I'm gonna call that as 4.87. I have no idea. Close enough, I guess. So our V2 speed is 144, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that. Just as a reminder, and go back to here real quick, and we need to set our acceleration height's 1500. Our reduction height is also 1500. Engine out acceleration is I guess 800. I guess it automatically does that, I'm not sure. But okay. And then from there we can go back to our normal flows. So we'll go back overhead and yaw damper, navigation switches all normal, fuel pumps on as required. I'm going to use my tablet to operate these. Electrical panel, galley on. Everyone's already loaded on board, so I didn't go through the boarding just to save time here. But let's get all our window feeds, recirculation, fans are auto, trim air is on, packs are, well, let me disconnect the air conditioning. I don't know when I'm supposed to do this, but the last couple of times I've been getting an alarm due to temperature. And I'm not really sure how to fix that up. I haven't studied enough about what that means. So packs are going to be auto. Light. Altitude of landing is like 4 feet. New Orleans is at 4 feet, so it's practically 0. Our pressurization mode is auto. Lights on as required. And let's go ahead and get the APU started. So the EGT rise, and we'll go ahead and get the air conditioning started. So I keep getting a temperature alarm here. It says zone temp, and I'm not really sure why I get that, but from what I've read online is that you get that zone temperature alarm due to the cabin temperature, or one of these temperatures gets too hot, and I guess it's like if you're outside, it's taking the actual outdoor temperature into account. While that's working, I'm going to go ahead on my other screen right now and get our virtual ATC loaded.
Beyond ATC connected.
And I'm going to get the ATIS frequency dialed in here, which I just happen to know off the top of my head is 124.05. that. Now my ATC program is on. So I'm going to go ahead and
Cycle hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information whiskey. George Bush Intercontinental H Airport information whiskey. 23120. Wind 015 at 14. Gusts 22. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 5000. Temperature 32. 2.16. Altimeter 2989er. Landing runway 08 left, 08 right, 09er. Departing run.
Alright. Information whiskey 2989er. So let's go ahead and set. Unfortunately, one of my peripherals is not working. Of course, things have to act up when I'm trying to record. Yeah, for some reason, it's not working this time. That's doing its thing. This has been on for 1 minute. Of course, this gives us this normal message, which is alright. I believe now my peripherals have been reset, so I can work this out great. I have physical setups of the EFIS and the MCP panel, along with the thrust lever. All of this down here, I have a physical thing. This is on a tablet. This entire overhead panel is on a tablet. And then, of course, all of this, at least the PFD is on a tablet, and some similar information here is on the tablet. I have my landing gear lever as well, so I had to reset all of that. But anyway, 2.9er feet. 9er was altitudes. Got that set, and let's go ahead and call ATC clearance. The clearance frequency is 128. I've got radio panels too, so 128. I gotta work on my programming for this knob here. It's a little bit slow. 128. And now I'm still practicing with my speaking for ATC. I just got this new artificial intelligence ATC program, and it's really neat, but I'm still not necessarily 100% on my speaking, so we'll try. Houston clearance, United 4181 is type Boeing 737 at gate Charlie 43. Request IFR clearance to New Orleans International.
Aircraft calling for clearance, say call sign.
United 4841.
United 4841, Houston clearance, cleared to Armstrong, New Orleans, Gumby Tree departure, gusty transition, then is filed. Climb via SID, departure frequency 1 tree 2.25, squawk 42 tree 4.
Cleared to Armstrong, New Orleans, Gumby 3 departure, gusty transition, then is filed. Climb via SID, departure frequency 132.25, squawk 4234, United 4841.
United 4841, read back correct. Contact ground 121.7 when ready for pushback or engine start.
Ground on 121.7, we'll call for push and start. Alright, let's go ahead and set 4234. I have physical peripheral for this as well. Go to I really need to double check all of these flight restrictions against the chart, and I can do that.
Southwest 674, contact Houston Tower 1 tree 5.15.
Contact Tower 135.15, Southwest 674.
Let's try other virtually simulated traffic. So I've got Climate 600, Dawson below 4,000, Gumby below 5,000, J. See, and here I don't really know. It says from Dawson on track. See an altitude distance here, so I'm not really sure what to do here. My flight computer has its own numbers there, but from Dawson on track 086 to cross Gumby at or below 5,000, then on transition. Maintain 16,000 expected filed altitude clearance at departure. See, my departure clearance, on my clearance, they really didn't say anything, I
Air
guess.
Shuttle 6151 at Gate 2, request pushback and engine start.
I guess I
Air
might
Shuttle
get that
6151, Houston ground, pushback and engine start approved, face south.
call departure.
Pushback approved, face south, Air Shuttle 6151.
I guess for right now, though, I'm gonna go ahead and set. I'm gonna go ahead and back up. Alright. Let's go.
Air Shuttle 6151, request taxi.
Air Shuttle 6151, runway 9er, taxi via apron, Arbron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via apron, LeBron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie, Air Shuttle 6151.
Start maneuvers are cut off, parking brake is on, speed brake is down, and check.
Air Shuttle 6311 at Gate 9er, request pushback.
Air Shuttle 6311, Houston ground, pushback approved, face north.
Pushback and engine start approved, face north, Air Shuttle 6311. Commute Air 4263, Gate 24, request pushback.
Commutair 4263, Houston ground, pushback and engine start approved, face south.
Pushback approved, face south, Commute Air 4263.
Nav, all normal, fuel as required. Cabin is on, emergency lights are on, fasten seatbelt sign is on.
Envoy 3876, Gate 25, request pushback and engine start.
Envoy 3876, Houston ground, pushback and engine start approved, face south.
Pushback and engine start approved, face south, Envoy 3876.
Auto brake, hydraulics normal, speed brake down.
Air Shuttle 6151, contact Houston Tower 1 tree 5.15, take care.
Stab trim cut out.
Over to Tower 1 tree 5.15, Air Shuttle 6151. Air Shuttle 6311, request taxi to the active.
Air Shuttle 6311, runway 9er, taxi via November Charlie, November Romeo, Whiskey Bravo, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via November Charlie, November Romeo, Whiskey Bravo, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie, Air Shuttle 6311. Commute Air 4263, request taxi to the active.
Commutair 4263, runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie. Commute Air 4263.
All aircraft be advised, information X-ray now current, altimeter 29er90.
Envoy 3876, request taxi to be active.
Envoy 3876, runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie, Envoy 3876.
United 4841 request pushback and engine start.
United 4841, Houston ground, pushback approved, face south.
Pushback approved, face south, United 4841. Alright. Let's go ahead and get up here and we're going to turn the packs off. Start. And I'm going to...
United 1177, gate 14, request pushback.
United 1177, Houston ground, pushback approved, face southwest.
Pushback and engine start approved, face southwest, United 1177.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Tracker outside.
Locking gear.
Commutair 4263, contact Houston Tower 135.15. See you.
Over to Tower 135.15, Commute Air 4263. United 1177, ready to taxi to the active.
United 1177, runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie, United
Release
1177.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Envoy 3876, contact Houston Tower 135.15. See you.
Over to Tower 135.15, Envoy 3876.
United 1177, contact Houston Tower 135.15.
Contact Tower 135.15, United 1177.
Air Shuttle 6311, contact Houston Tower 1, tree 5.15. Have a good day.
Over to Tower 135.15, Air Shuttle 6311.
We're starting engine 1 and I'm sitting out here looking at the window. Might be a little bit of a hot start there.
Qatari 3 Juliet Heavy, Gate 5, request pushback.
Qatari 3 Juliet Heavy, Houston ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face east.
Pushback approved, face east. Qatari 3 Juliet Heavy.
That was bad. But we're back on power. See, that's what I
Waiting your confirmations for a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Qatari 3 Juliet Heavy, ready to taxi to be active.
Qatari 3 Juliet Heavy, runway 9er taxi via Sierra Foxtrot, Romeo Alpha, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via Sierra Foxtrot, Romeo Alpha, Sierra Charlie. Qatari 3 Juliet Heavy.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
What I'll do is I'll go ahead and take off with this, and then from that point I'm going to stop this video. Maybe at some point I'll do a full flight, but for right now I just get us to take off.
November 939 Papa Charlie at ramp 13. Request pushback and engine start. November 939, Papa Charlie, Houston ground, pushback and engine start approved, face southeast. Pushback approved, face southeast. November 939, Papa Charlie.
Commute Air 4229 at Gate 3. Request pushback and engine start.
Commutair 4229, Houston ground, pushback approved, face south.
Pushback and engine start approved, face south. Commute Air 4229.
Qatari Tree Juliet Heavy, contact Houston Tower 1, Tree 5.15, take care.
Over to Tower 135.15, Qatari 3 Juliet Heavy.
United 4841, request taxi IFR.
United 4841, runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie, runway 09, United 4841.
Negative, taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie, United 4841.
Negative, taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via apron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie, United 4841.
November 939 Papa Charlie, ready to taxi to the active.
November 939, Papa Charlie, runway Tree left taxi via Whiskey Charlie.
Runway 33 left taxi via Whiskey Charlie, November 939 Papa Charlie.
This is on my tablet.
Commute Air 4229, request taxi to the active.
Commutair 4229, runway 9er taxi via apron, Arbron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie.
Runway 9er taxi via apron, Arbron, Romeo Bravo, Sierra Charlie. Commute Air 4229.
And these little cars and stuff, none of them ever stop, so I just I just started using this new traffic injection mod, so I'm not sure how well it is at...
November 939, Papa Charlie, contact Houston Tower 1, Tree 5.15.
I'm just going to run through...
Over to Tower 135.15, November 939 Papa Charlie.
Commutair 4229, hold position for traffic.
Hold position, Commute Air 4229.
Commutair 4229, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, Commute Air 4229.
United 4841, contact Houston Tower 1, Tree 5.15. Have a good day.
Houston Tower 135.15, United 4841. Tower United 4841, holding short, runway 9.
United 4841, Houston Tower Wind 005 at 18. Fly heading 100, runway 9er, cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 100, runway 9er, cleared for takeoff, United 4841.
Commute Air 4229, ready to go, runway 9er.
Commutair 4229, number 2 for departure. Hold short of 09er.
Roger, hold short of 09er. Commute Air 4229.
November 939. Papa Charlie, contact Houston, departure.
Contact Houston departure, November 939 Papa Charlie.
Airspeed alive.
Commutair 4229. Runway 09er, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 09er. Commute Air 4229.
V1 take. E2. Positive rate of climb.
Commutair 4229, Houston Tower. Wind 005 at 18. Fly heading 130, runway 9er, cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 130, runway 9er. Cleared for takeoff. Commute Air 4229.
United 4841, contact Houston departure, see you.
Contact Houston departure, see ya. Departure United 4841, climbing via W3 departure.
United 4841, Houston departure, radar contact, cleared direct W, sun, resume the Gumby tree.
Clear direct W, sun, resume Gumby tree, United 4841.
Good day, Houston. Commute Air 4229. Climbing via pits 5700.
Commutair 4229, Houston departure, radar contact, cleared direct rodical, resume the pits 5.
Clear direct rodical, resume the pits 5. Commute Air 4229.
Commutair 4229, Houston, expect radar vectors, runway tree 1.
Expect radar vectors, runway 31. Commute Air 4229.
Because I think it's been a long video, but hopefully you can at least have seen what my issue was when I was programming the FMC at the beginning, and I just included all the rest of this as a sample so you can kind of see me setting up the plane and taking off. So hope you enjoyed it. Bye.